going to do another service dog video, and this one is kind of out there, I will have to admit. We are trying to still desensitize Cowboy to events, places, people, loud noises. So we headed up to the racetrack, and we thought that this would be a very difficult challenge for Cowboy. There's loud noises, there's a lot of people, there's food dropped everywhere, there's people in wheelchairs, people walking with canes, screaming children running by. I thought this would be a really difficult challenge for him, so I prepared for the worst. So I'm going to tell you what I did before and how it went. So when we headed up there, we knew that we'd be sitting in grandstands, and this freaks me out because there are holes everywhere that a service dog can fall in. So we went up to the local Ace Hardware and we bought clamps. We decided to make a basket with a blanket in between the bleachers so he couldn't fall through either side. So we put it up against the bleachers behind us and clipped it, and then moved it down to the bleachers in front of us and clipped it. So then he had a very soft place to lay and he couldn't fall through. We also prepared for the worst by getting there super early. We got there about an hour and a half before the races started, and this allowed us to find a seat, make him feel comfortable with the noises before there were a ton of people that he didn't know what to do. So we walked around the race car track. We made him leave all the food alone as we walked by. We made him walk up and down the grandstand, getting used to the sound and how it flexes when you stand on it. We also had him lay down on his blanket and just listen to the cars drive by. Because if you know, race cars are really, really loud. And sometimes they're too loud for people. So I thought this would be a lot for Cowboy, and it wasn't. At the end, there were fireworks, which I was prepared for this to go pretty wrong, because Cowboy's never heard anything like that. So I brought, let me see if I can steal it from him. It was a hole at one time. Leave it. I brought a bone, and right before fireworks, I decided that I was going to give him the bone. This took his mind off the loud fireworks, but it also had him hear it still. So his focus wasn't on the fireworks, it was on the bone. And this seemed to do wonders because he shook a little bit trying to figure out what it was. And then once the fireworks were about halfway in, he was completely fine and just let it go. So I'm going to add a couple photos of how it went. I am very surprised with Cowboy. It was one of the best trips we've done, and everybody around us was surprised with Cowboy. He barked a handful of times, but not as much as I thought he would. A couple things that you really should have down before you take your dog to a festival like this or an event like this. Your dog needs a really solid leave-it. There is food everywhere, there is pop, there's alcohol bottles. Your dog needs a really solid leave-it. Your dog also needs a really solid heel, because as you walk through the crowds, if your dog is not by your side, he is most likely to be stepped on, kicked, or even separated from you. So you need a really solid heel. The last but not least, your dog needs a really, really, really good downstay, because the races are about 4 hours long, and your dog needs to lay at your feet most of that time unless you get up. So a downstay is completely necessary for this trip. I'm going to link the photos right here, and I hope this helped you. If you have any more questions, comment down below.